I received the message that PHR was getting an Impact Award at the second annual Met Gala event, honestly, I had to make myself slow down enough to accept why we were selected. But when I posted the announcement on social media, that's when it hit me in a bigger way. It forced me to then reflect, and honestly, I became overwhelmed with the acceptance finally that we have done a tremendous amount of foundational work and rebuilding since 2020. And I'm proud of how far we've come together as an organization and as a community. I am proud to be a native born, bred Park Heights girl who has come back to serve the very community that gave me life and shaped me to who I am today. And I'll say that this work is grueling, and it puts a tremendous amount of stress on all of the staff and the leaders in this community trying to shift effective change to improve their community's economic status.
One of the pillars of the Baltimore Met Gala is to recognize individuals and or organizations that are, one, sensitive to the cultural importance of what we do, understand the relevance, and more importantly, are committed to community economic impact. And watching and seeing and participating with Park Heights Renaissance, I thought those things were embodied by the organization and its leader, and I thought it was fitting that we recognized them in 2023.
Yolanda Jiggetts took over the reins of PHR in January of 2020. 2 months later, COVID hit. The pandemic could have been used as the excuse to put all projects, big and small, on hold. But for Yolanda Jiggetts, a native Park Heights resident, this simply was not an option. Affordable rental housing developments Renaissance Row and Woodland Gardens 1 and 2 came online, and the transit-oriented development project at Cold Spring is well under construction. Combined, these projects, overseen by PHR, account for more than $100 million of the total $300 million currently being invested in the PHR target area.
The message said to the residents of Park Heights when they see the major projects that we're involved in, the first transit-oriented project at Cold Spring Lane, Renaissance Row, partner projects like Woodland Gardens, it sends a signal to the residents that change is happening.
It's going to be this transition from, Park Heights and being able to work on its revitalization to it is revitalized, right? And now we're working on managing what that growth continues to look like. So that growth continues to be authentic to what Park Heights is and was and will be, the people that are living there, the people that have lived there and are proud to call themselves residents in Park Heights.
Mansour Abdul Malik is the Senior Vice President for NHP Foundation. They've partnered with local developer, the Henson Development Group, to develop the 17-acre site in Park Heights, which currently serves as the largest urban renewal project in the state of Maryland.
For us, we think that the home ownership component is a way to continue to add value, add equity, provide a different product that people are looking for in a being detached, not necessarily attached housing. That will really kind of help push the market in a direction that creates equity for those folks that are currently owning homes now.
For national developers like NHP Foundation, partnering with local organizations like Park Heights Renaissance is vital.
I do not have the level of understanding of the inner workings of the neighborhood as Park Heights Renaissance will. So, that is valuable to us because those nuances will it'll help guide, what we're looking to do. So, for instance, we proposed a senior building, largely because our market study, right, in general said like, hey, there's an influx of seniors in the Baltimore metropolitan statistical area, right? However, when we talk to Park Heights Renaissance, they are pointing to the pockets where we have seniors that are aging in place, and those seniors that are aging in place have a desire to still keep their home in the family because it is a tool for wealth generation. But they also want to make sure that they stay in their neighborhood. They've been in their neighborhood for like 20, 30, 40 years. So they want to make sure that the developer is being sensitive to that, bringing a product that not only affords them the ability to stay the neighborhood within their means, but also gives them the amenities that they so deserve.
Also in 2023, final funding was put in place to build a new Enoch Pratt Library branch in Park Heights. It will be located just across the street from the 17-acre development site.
City in crisis, taxpayers plunging millions of dollars into one neighborhood in Baltimore to turn it around.
But apparently there's nothing to show for it. Jeff Abel joins us live now. Jeff?
Well, you know, the state is now pumping millions of new tax dollars into the development of Park Heights. It is, as you know, a struggling community that now has reason to be skeptical. But neighbors have seen little progress.
I don't know where the money goes. It don't come here, not on this block.
Negative news coverage and early questions by residents didn't stop the transformation that's taking place on Loyola Northway. Seen here in 2020 when the project was announced, this is the same block of Loyola Northway today. Critics said the homes purchased by PHR for development would not sell for the $200,000 target sale price. Well, that turned out to be true. The house is sold for between $280,000 and $360,000.
Once I saw the media coverage, I heard the residents, I heard their frustrations. I immediately went to the block myself. I immediately assessed the properties. I immediately called the contractor to ensure the safety of the residents in that neighborhood. And what that did for me was made me understand that projects often conceptualized at the beginning need to change. You know, that project had been underway for many years, some very difficult, complex acquisition along the way. But for me, you know, I took the time to do that project in an expedited way, but in the way that effective community development should be done. I knocked on every door personally with my team. Some closed the door in my face and I came back the next day. We made sure that the sentiment that we heard on television was not going to be the sentiment for too long. So, you know, when I look at Loyola Northway, what I want the message to be to developers and to residents and stakeholders at Park Heights is that was an effective community redevelopment project.
Is what I appreciate about Park Heights Renaissance is that it's not just this particular area, that particular area. It is a holistic view, right? So you may get your big box store over here and it's not on Park Heights Road, but Park Heights Road will still be beautiful, right? Like they're trying to make it in such a way where it makes sense and not to where it's just, this is the one hub for everything, which is what happens in so many different other communities where you go to this one shopping center and everything is there, but you live 2 miles away from that shopping center.
Kimberly Ferguson purchased her home on Loyola Northway in 2017.
When I first bought this house, I didn't even look at what was around me because I was just trying to get a house. And when I came in here, you know, my son checked it out for me and it was habitable. So as we were leaving out, he told me to look around. And I looked around and I saw all those vacant properties across the street and next to me, and I felt faint.
It was about completing the entire block. So that block at the start of my assessment included about 80% vacant properties, but it also included some homeowners that had been living there for a very long time. It also included some tenants that were leasing properties. So, you know, I looked at, we're not just gonna patch this block, right, with these nice, beautiful homes, and then resident owners that have been here for years are gonna not benefit other than their taxes being increased. So our approach was to, when we say the block is finished, we mean that every house in that block will be touched. So phase 2 of the project is addressing the homes of the legacy residents, which brings me the most joy, honestly. Those residents are getting new facades and home repairs so that their property values are rising just in line with the new home.
PHR's signature programs, Clean and Green, now plays a vital role in the maintenance and care of open space in Park Heights. The Hippie location in Park Heights is now the training site for 2 other Hippie locations in Baltimore. As we wind down 2023, a new theme has started to evolve and will take us to bold new heights in 2024. Collaboration over competition.
What I want our funders, supporters, and residents to know is that we are rebuilding an organization that really never had the resources necessary. But I am proud to say I stand firm in the belief that our greatest accomplishment since 2020 is that we made it through a national pandemic, a much stronger organization and community. Many businesses didn't make it through. I want our funders and supporters to know the investment has helped us build capacity and learn more than we ever imagined. We are ready now to stand with the leaders of Park Heights to make an even bigger impact in 2024 with your continued support, guidance, and leadership.
At first, I can also express that being on an island, lost by yourself, and then all of a sudden some help come in. And then you get all this, you reap all these benefits and you start feeling like you are alive. So I guess that's the way it's seen. That's how I look at it as from 2017 to 2023. Mm-hmm. I felt like a seed being planted. I was buried in that dirt and it started growing and Park Heights Renaissance was watering me.